spiritual virginity. Even as the high priest in Israel could take only a virgin as his wife. 21. 10, 13, 14. Compares 44. 22. So the great high priest, Jesus Christ, must have only a virgin as his spiritual bride in heaven. Re 21. 9. Heb 7. 26. Compare F5. 25-30. Hence, the Apostle Paul was deeply concerned about the purity of the Corinthian congregation, desiring to present it as a chaste virgin to the Christ. 2 Co 11. 2-6 The bride of Christ is composed of 144,000 spirit-anointed persons who individually maintain their virginity by remaining separate from the world and by keeping themselves morally and doctrinally pure. Re 14. 1, 4. Compare 1 Co 5. 9-13. 6. 15-20. Just 4. 4. 2 Jo 8-11. Messianic prophecy. Although the Hebrew word Beth-middle-la means virgin, another term Amir appears at Isaiah 7. 14. Look. The maiden Ha-middle-la herself will actually become pregnant, and she is giving birth to a son, and she will certainly call his name Emmanuel. The word Amma means maiden and can apply to a non-virgin or a virgin. It is applied to the maiden Rebecca before marriage. O texto e acute miritra longo, Vision 11:59 described in the Bible, and at times they are combined. When a person received a vision from God during waking hours, it appears that the impression was made upon the conscious mind. The vision could later be recalled and described or recorded by the recipient, in his own words. Some persons, such as Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar, also had nocturnal visions, or visions of the night. These seem to have been impressed upon the subconscious mind while the recipient slept. Trance. Apparently God's Spirit at times superimposed on the mind a picture of God's purpose or a vision while the person was in a trance, a state of deep concentration or a sleep-like condition. The Greek word rendered trance in the Christian scriptures is exstation. Defined literally as a putting away or displacement, it carries the figurative idea of a throwing of the mind out of its normal state. An individual in a trance would be oblivious of his literal surroundings and would be receptive to a vision. Act 22. 17, 18. Assurances of divine favor. Certain visions from God revealed to Jehovah's servants how he was dealing with them and gave them assurance of divine favor. The word of Jehovah came to Abraham in a vision, and the patriarch was assured. Do not fear, Abram. I am a shield for you. Your reward will be very great. Ge 15. 1 Thereafter, Jehovah made a covenant with Abraham. Ge 15. 2-21 Some years later, God talked to Jacob in visions of the night, telling him not to be afraid to go down to Egypt, for God would constitute him a great nation there and would eventually bring him up from that land. Ge 46. 1-4. Compare 2-7. 1-17. 1-17. 1-15. Direction in serving the divine purpose. Some visions from God gave the recipients direction in the doing of Jehovah's will. After the glorified Jesus Christ appeared to Saul of Tarsus, Saul, though temporarily blinded, had a vision in which he saw a man named Ananias lay his hands upon him so that he might recover sight. Also by means of a vision, Ananias was directed to the very house where Saul was in Damascus. Act 9. 1-19. In Caesarea in 36 CE the devout Gentile Cornelius received a vision in which an angel told him to send to Joppa for Simon Peter. Act 10. 1-8 At Joppa, Peter fell into a trance and had a vision in which he saw descending from heaven a vessel containing various unclean creatures. By this means the apostle was taught that he should not consider defiled the things God had cleansed. This prepared Peter to initiate the work of preaching the good news to uncircumcised Gentiles. Act 10. 9-23. 11. 5-12. Divine direction in the preaching work was also given to Paul by means of visions. At Troas, during Paul's second missionary tour, at night the apostle had a vision of a Macedonian man who entreated, "Step over into Macedonia and help us." Acts 16. 8-12 Later, as a result of a reassuring vision by night in which the Lord spoke to him, the apostle remained in Corinth for a year and 6 months, teaching the word of God. Acts 18. 8-11. Prophecy. Some visions from God were prophetic or were given to enable the recipient to interpret prophecies communicated in visions and dreams. The prophet Daniel had understanding in all sorts of visions and dreams. Dar 1. 17 It was in a night vision that God revealed to Daniel the content and meaning of King Nebuchadnezzar's dream about an immense image pictorial of world powers. Dar 2. 19, 28. Compare Dar 4. 5, 10, 13, 20-22. In a prophetic dream and visions during the night, Daniel beheld 4 huge beasts coming out of the sea, indicating that 4 kings would stand up from the earth. Dar 7. 1-3, 17 The prophet was also